Hello traders and investors, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back in the pursuit of wealth. It is Monday, October 4th, and in this video we're going to be discussing the HEXO Corp stocks. We're going to do a quick update on that. I know a lot of people online, especially on YouTube, specifically were asking for an update video, so going to give that to you here today and my thoughts on the stock and what we can expect in the days and weeks ahead. But before we jump into that, make sure to smash like and subscribe to the channel. And also just wanted to reiterate that I've been closing a property, so recently sold a second property of mine, and was celebrating on Saturday, penthouse style, and posted in the group to private Power Group members. But you can see here, got the penthouse suite for the weekend, and it was absolutely stunning. There was a deck outside connected right into the room, overlooking the city of Charlottetown, waterfront view, and absolutely phenomenal. Hosted a party there over the weekend. It was a late night. So just moving at the moment, just getting settled into my new spot at the moment. So things are starting to slow down a little bit here. So I wanted to get a video out today, but absolutely amazing time here this weekend. And thanks to all that came out to that party. So moving on, I do want to just highlight one thing before we jump into the charts. I want to highlight that I was going to post this video and across social media and on Facebook and whatnot, but this is the error that I'm getting right now. I live in Canada. So when I go to Facebook, it's showing a DNS error, and I did a poll on YouTube earlier on today asking if this was widespread or not. So WhatsApp was down as well. So you can see here, this was one of the first articles I came across. WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook were all down and not working in Canada. I heard reports that Australia, now they're saying it's pretty much, widespread across the globe. So we haven't heard anything official from Facebook yet, but one would think that now it's been down for a few hours that I'm starting to smell a hack. And this isn't looking good the longer that time goes on. But hopefully for our sake and the sake of the market, we're not going to see a big hack, result of a hack. We had some whistleblower news. This isn't the purpose of this video, but I just wanted to highlight that we could potentially see some market weakness. This caused a lot of weakness in the broader market today. So if there was some truth to that we did have a hack in Facebook, just be aware of some potential market volatility. And that will obviously, if you're wondering why this is pertinent, that will obviously play a role in the effect that it will have on the MJ space and specifically HEXO. So just keeping an eye out on that. And we did confirm a daily downtrend here when we lost support at 373. So once we lost 373, we confirmed a daily downtrend. And it's just been all bears from there. So that was the go signal there on Facebook. But really hoping we see some news coming out on that. If you do hear anything on that, make sure to let us know in the comments below. So just as a reminder, HEXO will participate in AGP's virtual fall consumer MJ conference, and that will be tomorrow, October 5th, Tuesday, 2021 at 10 a.m. Eastern time. And as far as I can tell, you can see here that there's no mentioning of, I did look into it. It said you had to contact your AGP's rep, so sales rep essentially, or organization rep that should have that link for you to join, but it's not open to the public as far as I'm aware. And that's just starting to raise some eyebrows, right? The fact that we're at 52-week lows and we're having all these participation in different conferences, but the public isn't allowed to attend, just seems like the deep pockets are getting all their friends with deep pockets in before and shunning retail and getting them in before they unleash it on the masses. So just finding that a bit odd. That happened with Citi's presentation and conference as well. So very, very, very peculiar and very strange in my opinion. So moving on, CEO compensation at MJ producer HEXO. I just wanted to touch on this real quick because I know a lot of people, there's been some really crazy myths around HEXO basically saying that it dilutes more than any other company, which is false. We know that that's not true. They've actually diluted the least out of all the major LPs, and also some myths about how it was, the CEO, Sebastian Saint-Louis, was receiving crazy amounts of pay. And I just wanted to highlight here today that MJ firm Tilray awarded their CEO $13.2 million in cash bonuses this year alone, which translate to 16.7 million Canadian dollars so far this calendar year. And if we take a look here, in total, Tilray's CEO has received nearly 30 million in total compensation so far in calendar 2021, almost half of which was paid in cash. So just wanted to, again, debunk that myth. Everybody's saying that, CEO of HEXO is paid way too much, and all these other companies are basically living in reality. Well, taking a look here in 2020, his compensation was $11.1 million in fiscal 2020, and he voluntarily reduced to Quebec's minimum wage for 3 pay periods in the second quarter. So he voluntarily reduced his compensation and declined to say why, but I mean, that speaks volumes. But you can see here the compensation disclosures comes after HEXO reported a net loss of $546 million, so that's why a lot of people were upset. Obviously had posted a huge, $500 million loss, and then people were accusing of paying them too much. And St. Louis' fiscal year 2020 compensation consisted mostly of option-based awards, $10.7 million, while his salary was listed at $457,000. Over the past 3 years, St. Louis' compensation totaled roughly $21.5 million. So you're talking about over the last 3 years, totaling $21.5, and the CEO of Tilray, Irwin Simon, was paid nearly $30 million in 2021 alone. So let that sink in for a moment. Also, I know this isn't comparing apples to apples, no pun intended. This is apples to oranges, but just to give you an idea, Tim Cook got $750 million US bonus in his 10th anniversary as Apple CEO, just for his 10th anniversary. So, gives you some perspective. Obviously, they're profitable and a huge $1 trillion company, but really just, drops in the bucket when you think about $10 or $11 million in the grand scheme of things. Also, Tilray valued at about $6 billion, probably $5 billion now with the bloodbath going on in the sector. But also just want to highlight that on RBC, it seems that, I'm not sure about your broker, but it seems like we're seeing some manipulation. You can see here on Yahoo Finance, we've got 276 million shares outstanding. I noticed today that RBC still isn't updated, it's still showing around 200 million and a market cap of about 400 and some million. You can see here on Yahoo, we're sitting at 600 million. And just to compare that, again, everybody's saying that this HEXO's the king of dilution. Well, let's just flip over to OGI here for a second. OGI has more outstanding shares with 298 million and market cap of 827 million, which according to RBC, HEXO is only worth half of that, which is, again, just spells manipulation in my opinion. And it's no wonder that we're starting to see, why we have so many myths and just, like a lot of misconceptions in the market, for lack of a better word. And we're starting to see this come to light more and more as time goes on. But I just wanted to do a quick video to point some of this stuff out because it's getting pretty ridiculous. Let me know in the comments below if you agree with me. Also, we can expect to see HEXO earnings coming up. It says here the tentative date on November 3rd. But again, this is tentative, so we'll want to see official confirmation from HEXO. They usually do a pretty good job letting us know a couple of weeks in advance, usually 3 or 4 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks in advance rather. But analyst forecast coming in at 33.74 million and negative 0.0816 on the EPS. Also, in terms of earnings, Tilray to announce first quarter fiscal 2022 financial results on October 7th. So that'll be Thursday before the market open. And I just wanted to mention that because we could see some sector. We're going to be looking to Tilray to move the sector. And in my opinion, I wanted to mention that I do think that I was thinking about it today. Why is the CPG news, why hasn't that released yet? Why hasn't HEXO released that information yet? I thought it would have happened at least before the end of September. But then I got thinking about it. It likely wouldn't be a wise decision. And maybe they're learning from their past mistakes in the past with their poor market timing and news timing articles. So maybe they're waiting. Right now we have SPY consolidating, right? We have the US sector, MJ space consolidating heavily. We have all of Canadian MJ consolidating as well. So maybe they're waiting for a sector reversal before they release this news. I think that I'm starting to think more and more that that could be the case. So we'll jump into the chart here real quick. I don't have a whole lot to go over here today. It's been pretty evident that it's just been an absolute bloodbath, not just in HEXO, but across the sector. We now have 19 weeks of straight pullback. So if we take that into a daily consideration, you can see here we're looking at roughly 129 days. So if you're still interested and you haven't panic sold HEXO, kudos to you because most people have already jumped ship and I can't imagine anybody wanting to sell at these prices. I've been long HEXO for the last few weeks and I accumulated. I bought a little bit more today as well and starting to see some potential signs. So we'll go over some signs that I'm seeing in the stock that we could see some potential reversal here. So first things first, we are weekly oversold. We touched down on, I think, 26 there at one point today, close to 25 on the weekly RSI. And we could be seeing a reversal here. You can see here that we had this downward sloping resistance line, and we're finally starting to come out of that pattern and close outside of that. And we also have the monthly uptrend line here, support trend line, dating back to inception. And you can see here that we're right on that monthly uptrend support line that we have, like I said, dating back to the beginning of the history of this stock. So not only are we breaking out of that weekly downtrend, we're starting to see that monthly support trend line come into play as well. And just want to highlight that the next signal we need to see is EMA 12 on the daily time frame. We need to see a daily candle close above that EMA 12. You can see here we've been rejecting ever since we lost it back here from the first week of June. So ever since June, EMA 12 has been, that yellow line has been rejecting the price. So just taking a look on terms of how many days, you can see here from we lost it, it's now been rejecting the price for 116 days. So that will be a notable momentum shift. So if you're wondering, what do we need to see major momentum shift in the HEXO stock, we need to see a daily candle close, in my opinion, over that yellow line, which is sitting at 243 on the Canadian side. If we take a look on the US side, you can see here that it's sitting at 192. So a daily candle close over 192. But I just brought that up on the NEO exchange because it had a bit more data there. But you can see here that it has been a brick wall resistance. So that's what we'll be looking for here into the rest of the week. But Tilray earnings could line up well if we do see a favorable reaction from that. Could line up well here with the price action finally breaking out of that downward sloping resistance line and matching up with that monthly uptrend support line as well, dating back to inception. And then we have earnings coming up for HEXO. Not expecting a huge earnings beat this earnings, but really looking forward to March earnings of 2022. That's when we should see the Redican numbers consolidated on there as well, and likely garner a lot of attention in the stock, in my opinion. We are seeing some signs of life on the weekly chart. You can see here that the stochastic is very close to a bull cross, and the MACD starting to curl here, lining up for another potential bull cross as well. Still a lot of work to do as we're still well below the 10-week moving average there at 242. And just wanted to highlight that the weekly moving averages, the closest nearby is the 100 weekly all the way up at 450. And if you take a look at history, we generally tend to gravitate back towards these moving averages. So again, not financial advice, it's for entertainment purposes only, but one would think that we would start to gravitate back toward that moving average. And again, just starting to question, now down to about 85%, same as Tilray from the recent February highs. How much more downside are we really going to see from here, and likely going to see an explosive move once it does happen? You can see here that the 50-day moving average there at 278 as well. So quite far away. I know that Morningstar is saying that HEXO is valued at just under $4 Canadian right now for fair market value. So again, a pretty big discrepancy there in terms of the share price. But if you're wondering why HEXO is down so much, it's all of MJ, right? Take a look at MSOS, the ETF that tracks all the major MSOs in the US, now down about 50% from the recent highs. A lot of MJ names in the US down over 50% as well. Like I said, if we take a look at Tilray, down about 85% from its high as well, sitting at about $10. So again, we're starting to see that across the whole sector. It's not just HEXO, and SPY also going through some weakness and consolidation here on the monthly. So again, if SPY can pull all the way back to about 400 here and test EMA 12 and still be a potential monthly bull flag. So again, if we're just seeing some potential timing, market timing, hopefully it's just some good market timing on behalf of HEXO. They're just not looking to release a bullish news on CPG news, and they're waiting for some potential bounce in the broader market and the rest of the MJ sector specifically. But I do think I think it's manipulation. I really do think that they're just dragging this on as long as possible, the market makers, so that people lose interest, lose faith in the stock, and then they'll release it and catch a lot of people off guard. And then you'll see people start to go chase the stock again and be looking for entries when the stock has already started to explode and train has sort of left the station. That's generally how emotions work and the general retail stereotypical investor works. Also, we have the shroom industry, so MNMD today getting absolutely slammed. And you can see here that monthly consolidation, we are coming up on monthly support here. So again, we need to see weekly uptrends confirm in all of US, Canadian, and I would like to see it in the mushroom sector as well, as they all have been very heavily correlated over the last few weeks. So hopefully that was a great update. You got some value from that today. I know that was a lot of information to go over. And like I said, we'll be getting back to the regular schedule here at some point here in the next couple of weeks. I'm also going to be going to Colorado and Vegas for MJ BizCon, and I'll be stopping by Edmonton after that as well. And I've got quite a few trips planned in the next few months, just celebrating and taking some time off and rewarding myself, right? So I encourage everyone to do the same. Don't get too hung up on the share price. I know it's depressing, it can be discouraging, but I'd rather be buying at a 52-week and all-time low than buying at a 52-week high. So let me know in the comments below, do you think we are nearing a reversal? Do you think Tilray could spark some momentum in the sector? Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, and we'll see you in the next video.